Welcome back to Channel Guys, Dave from Horizon Fish Keeping, and today we're going to be doing a video, a bit of a tutorial on how to breed rainbow fish and the way I breed rainbow fish. So stay tuned guys, we're going to be going through how to make spawning mops, the species that I'm going to be breeding as well, and also setting up the spawning tank. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, then join in. We'll have a look at what I do to breed the rainbow fish. If you are a seasoned breeder, this one's probably not for you. If you guys are pretty regular fish keepers, probably not for you neither. This is more for the beginners, people that are getting into breeding and they want to look at doing something like the rainbow fish. So stay tuned guys, we'll get into it and I'll see you in a moment. So for this part of the video guys, I just want to show you how to make a spawning mop. If you do know how to make a spawning mop already, you can just skip through this part and then we'll look back at the breeding project that we're doing. So basically a spawning mop, the way I use the spawning mops is I have them floating along the top of the tank. So this is one that I've made kind of earlier, and I've just used a piece of cork and that makes it float up in the water column like that. And the rainbow fish will swim into this, a male and female, and they sort of shake together. And as they shake it together, the female will drop the eggs and the male will drop the milk onto the eggs, which will fertilise them, and hence how you have fertilised eggs in the mops. So to make these spawning mops is fairly easy. You're going to need some wool. I use acrylic wool. I don't sort of boil it. Some people boil it and things, but I'm not into that sort of thing. So I've just got a big bundle of wool here. And I've also got a small piece, and this is for tying the cork onto the top. It's probably about 1.5 foot long. You don't need it too long, a foot will do. So basically the best, easiest way to make these is to wrap it around a book. This particular one's a stitch book. I've stolen it off my daughter for 2 minutes. What I tend to do is I'll hold the string at the bottom at the back, like this, and then I'll wrap the string then over the book, and you just want to keep going round and round until you've got quite a lot of string wrapped around the book. So I'll just keep doing this until we've used all the string up. And once you get to this part of the stage, so once you've got the whole way around, you want to cut the bottom here while holding it all together. I haven't actually got some scissors with me at the moment, just give me 1 second guys. So you'll just want to get your scissors and hold the book like this, and usually with a book like this, it'll have a small gap underneath where you can just slide your scissors into, and what I'll do is I'll cut along the bottom. Make sure you use sharp scissors as well guys, not these ones that I've got. Cut along the bottom, and then you want to grab the middle like this and pinch together. So you end up with two sides. I'm going to cut this piece off because I don't actually need it that long. You can actually use that piece there. So basically you've got like this kind of deal going on. And what you want to do is you want to tie your string, which you've got from earlier, the smaller piece, around the centre of your spawning mop. So you can just do like a shoelace knot. Any knot will do really. Just make sure it's sort of tight together. I'm just going to do like a double shoelace knot. Oh, missed it. So once you've got it tight together like that, at this point you want to tie your cork onto your spawning mop. So what I usually do is I'll actually wrap it around a few times, both longer pieces. And then what I'll do is I'll tie it off at the end once the... this just makes it a lot tighter on the top. If you just sort of wrap it around a few times, and then you can pull your knot real tight down onto your spawning mop. So you just, same again, just a double knot. Your half shoelace knot before you do your loops. There you go guys. So that's how you make the spawning mops. I just thought I'd add this into the video. Obviously, if you guys can make spawning mops, it's not really that interesting, but 2 spawning mops there, and these will go in with the breeders. So we'll get back to the fish room, guys, and I'll show you how to set up the tank. So for this particular breeding project, we're going to be using the Bosemani rainbows. So you can just see on the right, on the left here we have a Bosemani male, much bigger and coloured up real nice, so adult sized. And on the right hand side we have a Bosemani female. She's very plump, adult sized, and we'll be putting these guys together inside the tank in a moment, and we'll have a look at that. So here we are, guys, back in the fish room, and I've actually just put in the male and female Bosemanis into this tank here. And this is going to be predominantly the breeding tank for this project. You can see they're in there now. There's no decor. There's half a coconut shell in there that's just been in from other projects. And then we've just got our spawning mops here. So basically what we're going to do is, it's fairly easy, male and female. I'm going to put the spawning mops into the tank. When you first put the spawning mops into the tank, you will need to sort of squeeze them just to get the water into them. Otherwise they'll just float along the top, the whole thing. Once you get a bit of water in, you'll see that the spawning mop will sink, just like that. There's quite a bit of duckweed in this tank, but we can figure that out. We've actually got a power head in here, filter type thing. I'm going to be removing that for this part of the project. I'd rather have it sort of quite calm and still. I know the rainbow fish do prefer the flow. I just had it in there to clear up the water a little bit for recording. But we'll get a closer look in a moment, and we'll just sort of see, like I said, just get all the air out, guys. That's the main thing. You want them sort of dangling down in the water, just like this one here. I will give you a closer shot in a moment, just so you can see what we've got set up here, and you can see sort of the fish in the tank. Now, rainbows in general are a morning spawner, and what you need to do is, I've got a dark fish room. You guys at home will probably have to wait for your lights to come on and off. In this dark fish room that I've got here, obviously it's light when the lights are on and it's dark when the lights are off. I can control that through a tapo plug. So I can basically trick the rainbows into a false day, like morning. So what I'm going to do is, I'll give you a closer shot of the tank so you can kind of see what's going on in there. And then we'll drop off the lights for probably about 3 or 4 hours, and then we'll trigger the lights back on. These guys have been in the tank now for about, I don't know, maybe 6 hours together, so they've been introduced properly. You know, they've got used to each other, they've got used to the tank a little bit more, and hopefully we get some spawning action. If we do, I'll show you the eggs on the spawning mop, and then in next week's video I'm going to be showing you the next stage of the process on how to hatch out the eggs successfully. And what sort of food you should be feeding the fry. It'll be a hatch out video where we'll show the eggs again, we'll show them hatched out, and then we'll move on to feeding the rainbow fish, because the rainbow fish fry need very small food, very small food. The fry are like an eyelash once they hatch out, so it's quite difficult. The first sort of week or so on rainbow fish is the touch and go point, where it could all go wrong, or you could have real good success. So I'll bring you guys in now. You can check out the tank, and then we'll have a look a little bit later on, see if we've got any eggs. So here we go, guys. We're just gonna have a quick look. This tank's not the biggest tank in the world, but it's perfect sort of size. I think it's about 80 litres to breed fish. The Bosemani rainbow, I'd say if you've got one, you need at least 25-30 litres just for one. So this is quite a small tank, but that means that they're going to be in close proximity to each other on a regular basis. Sorry for the reflections behind, guys. It's just the other side of the fish room reflecting on the glass. So you can see we've got these 2 spawning mops, just one here and one here. The power head is off. We've got a sponge filter going in the background. Obviously it's heated. We've got this tank quite fairly warm. I think it's at about 78 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 80. So it's a fairly warm tank. It's a little bit murky and stuff at the moment. I've just done a 50% water change just so these guys are getting dropped into sort of fresh water. You can see the male Bosemani is coloured back up again after being in the little jug, and the female Bosemani is sort of swimming near. She's a little bit wary, obviously, is slightly bigger than she is, but she's getting used to him now. You can see her just there. And what we're looking for is some spawning activity. So like I said before, guys, I can go onto my phone, I can use the Tapo app and turn the lights that in the fish room off. And with the fish room being as it is, there's no windows in here, as you can see. So I can knock these lights off rows at a time. So I can turn them off just like this, and we can end up with a totally black fish room. And what that'll do is it'll make the fish think that it's night time, so they've been for a night cycle. And then rainbow fish in general, they spawn in the mornings, so when the sun rises up in the mornings, the rainbow fish spawn, and then obviously the eggs are laid wherever. In our case, they'll drop into the spawning mops and hopefully stick to them. At that point, we can remove the spawning mops and put them into another tank, or you can remove the adults and they'll hatch out in that tank. I mean, if you're a beginner and you don't have as many tanks as I do, you can just remove the adults into another tank, put them in your community tank or something like that, and then you can just leave them in there. What I will say is, when you're waiting for the eggs, I'd leave it around a week. Just let them spawn like mad for a full week. I'll leave the mops in there until you start seeing fry on top of the water, then remove the adults. At that point, there'll be so many eggs in the mop, you'll get a real good yield of fry. So what I'll do is, guys, I'm going to knock the lights off in the fish room, and we'll turn them back on in about 3 or 4 hours time, and we'll check the mops to see if we've got any eggs. That way that we can confirm we've got male and female, and also that'll confirm that they're going to breed as well. So I'll knock off this main light in the Oscar tank, and I'll be back with you in about 3 hours. So welcome back to the fish room. Before, on the first part of the video, we're looking at doing the spawning mops and also doing the light cycles for breeding these rainbow fish. Like I said before, they are morning spawners, so they'll tend to spawn early in the morning. Once the lights have come on, they start going into spawning activity. I will say as well, just as a bit of an added point, you need to start feeding your fish very well for them to start spawning. Otherwise, you'll tend to get very low yields of eggs. Obviously, you want to get maximum numbers, especially if you're doing it for profit. Unfortunately, it's been around 3 days since I actually turned the lights off, so for you guys it's been 10 seconds, for me it's been 3 days. And we've come back to the fish tank in particular, the one that we're filming in before. So this one here, with the Bozeman rainbows. And what's happened is, after a few days of on and off light cycles, I would expect to see some eggs, at least 1 or 2, in the spawning mops. Now this can happen to anyone, and definitely for the rainbow fish species. The chances are that this fish that I bought the other day is not a female, it's probably a male fish. And if you guys are quite regular on my channel, you'll know that I've got a rainbow tank set up in my house. So I took the male from the big tank, and then I bought a female on the off chance that it might have been a female, because the other ones looked a lot more coloured up. But the chances are he's probably a subdominant male, so there's very little colour on him, a little bit more slender than the ones I've got. I'm probably going to leave him about 2 or 3 days to see if we can get some eggs out of him, just in case I'm wrong. But the likelihood is that the fish that I bought is actually a male as well, which is fine, because I can just put him in with my other rainbow males and he'll live a really good life in the 550 litre tank. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spin the camera around and I'm going to show you the eggs that I get off my Prey Cox rainbows. That way you guys can know what you're looking for, and you can sort of see, once you've seen one, you can see them all the time then. And I'm going to show you them on the spawning mops at the Prey Cox tank. Once you've seen one rainbow egg, they're all the same. There's slightly different variations in size, but I'll spin the camera around and we'll take a look at them. So here we are, guys, we're at the Prey Cox rainbow tank just here. Now this is a real good beginner species if you wanted to get into rainbow fish breeding. This one's a real good one to start with. The reason is because they colour up at slightly earlier ages, rather than some of the rainbows that stay quite dull until they get a lot older. They're really easy to sex as well. You can just see the 2 here at the bottom. These are female rainbow Prey Cox. As you can see, that she's got a yellow tail and the yellow dorsal fin, and you can just see behind there the males have a little bit more colour to the body. They also have a red dorsal fin and tail, so they're very easy to sex. Yellow's female and red is ultimately male. So I breed this species quite a lot. They are quite easy to breed, and I've kept these mops in here since Friday, so there should be some eggs in one of them. I'm not sure which one, but we're going to pull a few out anyway and just have a quick look and see if we can't see some eggs. So basically what you want to do is just get your mop out and just start looking through it like real careful, because they are very small, the rainbow fish eggs, and they are quite hard to see at first. Obviously after a week or so, there's going to be so many eggs in this mop You should be able to see like clutches of them, I should say, in areas, and obviously they'll be easier to identify when there's a much greater number in the spawning mop. So basically all I'm doing here is just looking through each individual strand. I'm actually doing it through the camera, so it's a bit more difficult to look. You guys can probably see it slightly better. So I'll just get it into some light, and then I should be able to find one or two. Yep. It's a bit difficult to see through the camera screen there. So this is what you're looking for. You can just see there in between my fingers, there's just a little tiny pearl. Just try and get focus a little bit better. And that's a rainbow fish egg. The bozemannies and the praycocks are very similar. Sorry for the focus, guys. It's quite hard to get focus on something so small. You can just see there on the centre of the screen, just that tiny little pearl, and that'll become darker over the next couple of days. And then when I remove my mops, I usually drop them into another tank, heated to the similar sort of temperatures as the parents have got, and that'll hatch out into a baby rainbow fish. So to finish off this sort of video as such, basically what you want to do is have males and females in your tanks, do the spawning mops as we described earlier on in the video, and I'm going to show you the tank I actually hatch the rainbows out into. So once I see eggs or fry in the parent's tank, what I'll usually do is I'll pull the mops out and I'll put them into this tank. So this has these mops have been here for a few days now, so they'll be hatched out into small fry. You can probably just see very small fish at the moment. These couple just here are about a week old maybe. Try and get a better shot of these guys. They're a little bit bigger in size, but just at the very top. So you guys I might not be able to get a good enough shot of these guys. You can just see there's a very small fry just darting around, and that's how they'll hatch out at first. So what you want to be doing at that point is feeding very small foods. So these guys just in that group there are a little bit older. Sorry for the focus, guys, I can't really get a good focus shot. Let's try and take you off the tripod, and I'll try and get in a little closer, and I'll try and get a better shot of these fish for you. Right, so here we go. Try and zoom in a little. You can just see them at the top there, and just sort of, if you look very carefully where the roots of the duckweed's coming down, you can just see little tiny baby praycocks just there, like little hair eyelashes even. Very hard to focus on camera, and they're just behind this big guy here. You can't really see him that well, but try a top down view maybe. Yeah, so there's a few just here. We're not getting good focus today, guys, but yeah, that's what you're looking for. So once they've hatched out, you'll get something like this on top of the water, and then you want to feed very small foods. Now I feed 3 times a day at this rate, and I use a mixture of Akari first bites and baby brine shrimp, and that tends to bring them on fairly fast. As you can see, some of these are a couple of weeks old, and they're doing really good growth wise. They're actually just hiding all in this plant just here. There we go. So you'll end up with tons of them just like this, and then at that point it's up to you if you want to separate them out. Again, you're looking for the red tails for the males and the yellow tails for the females. As ratios go, I do a 1 male to 2 female ratio, and that seems to work really well. So if you guys are interested in these videos, if you could just please leave a like or a comment, that'd be amazing. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. We've got loads of projects going on in the fish room, and we're going to have some more coming up. I want to do a video on the German blue rams and how to hatch these guys and to breed these. As you can see, I'm fairly successful at breeding the German blue rams as well, and I've actually got each stage at the moment, so I might just record a quick video either today or tomorrow to put up after this one as well. So if you guys are interested in breeding the German blue rams as well, you can click onto that. It should be up next week. So have a good week, guys. Hope you have an awesome week, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.